Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
All right, talk to us.
Bro, I don't give a bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get. I don't give a anymore.
Where?
Bro, they took me to the woods, bro, and they tied. I'm not joking, bro. I have proof, bro. I don't give a. Bro, I will show you every video you could ever believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They tied me down and they made me watch, dog. I absolutely don't give up anymore. Yes, I lost it. They're little kids.
Come on, fuck this guy, dude.
Bro, this dude.
Who?
Bro,
You do know
you know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
You know the path
Andrew,
you're going down is dangerous, my friend.
I don't give a. I don't give a. They can't touch me. I'm a god.
Well, that's the first point of contention, because I care about you a lot, and I can assure you from my own personal experience that they can touch you.
Bro, no, they can't, bro. All right, so come touch me, fucking.
You have proof of these things? You have proof of this on your phone?
Yes, of course I do. The fuck you talking about? Of course. If Alex could get a fucking video from the Bohemian Grove, of course I could.
Well, I have to be careful what I say because I'm in the middle of a judicial process right now.
You want me to get you out of it? I can help.
Well, bro, my door gets kicked in if I say what I'm thinking.
Okay, well, I can help you get out of it.
Those are quite the allegations there, and they did touch him, as we'll see in this next clip.
Hey guys, it's me, Ryan. I'm coming on here to explain what's going on. I'm not in possession of my phone. I can't get access to my Instagram. My cards are locked. And I'm just being real, I'm being real taken advantage. And I personally wanted just to send out a video to the people that love me and my fans and family that's concerned that I'm okay. I'm not dead. I believe in Jesus. All those are lies. And, they try to put me in jail. They're blocking my cards. I can't access my money. Nobody's hitting me back. I don't know what's going on, but just know I'm okay. Look.
That's pretty sad, man. Of course, there's no way for us to know whether or not what he was claiming is true or not, but come on. You don't make accusations like that just out of nowhere and blow up your entire career just because you want to get a few minutes of fame on the internet. I mean, the guy already had his fame. He already had his ticket. It makes me put some faith into what he's saying, and it's another sad situation.
The people of America are under attack. In our last video, I talked about how these train derailments are intentionally poisoning our water supply. Our children's food is being laced with lead. And now over 1 million acres in Texas is on fire. Here's the wild part about these wildfires. Are you ready? These two, in my opinion, have been intentional, and here's why. Over 85% of the state's cattle population is located in the ranches of the Panhandle, the same area that is burning to the ground. This area alone and the cattle production that comes from it accounts for 9% of Texas's gross state production, adding up to almost $2 billion to the state's economy. Now we know what's going on with the governor and his opinions and his dealings with the southern area of his state. So personally, I can't help but wonder if this loss has something to do with that. But stepping completely away from government conspiracies, I would just like to talk about the food. It's not a secret that lab-grown meat has been trying to be pushed out to the public, and the public just straight up isn't having it. Could this possibly be a push toward more economically friendly food and meat that's grown in labs? Could this be a way to force the American people to accept this lab-grown adulterated meat? The coincidences, once again, are just a little too coincidental. As always, I look forward to hearing your thoughts about all of this down below.
Those sound like sound theories to me. The first theory that she's got there, where she's talking about the economy being hampered by this wildfire. You know, Texas has been talking about seceding from the Union for a while, and those conversations are really ramping up and getting some energy behind them. The citizens are really on board with it. You know, they've done several polls that have showed that, so it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility that they're trying to hurt the economy of Texas and make it harder for them to maintain their own economic stability. The second part of that theory, you know, when you take into account all of the accidental explosions and stuff that happen with all these different food factories and stuff in the United States over the past 1.5 to 2 years, there's definitely an attack on our food supply happening. I'd say it's a combination of them trying to push this lab-grown meat and them trying to push us to eating bugs. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, I make a new one just like it every single day. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
Check did not clear the bank, and so we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
I rolled out there and took the box up and started pulling it up, and it was so heavy, it just it broke the winch, and we couldn't get it off the trailer, so we had to leave it on the trailer because it was too heavy. So I was asked by Nick to have a crew go down and unload the container at the other yard.
I got a radio call that from Ron Gillette, foreman. They said the men were throwing up and there was something really wrong.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet, and it was opened up, and there it was. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And just, just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs, it's just, well, really, it's just, it makes you want to cry when you see something like that.
Starting at the very front of this container, it was just wall clear to the ceiling and clear to the sides, filled with them.
I really don't want to witness it again. Not what I saw.
Well, as a supervisor for the County of Los Angeles, we found out through the media that 17,000 infants had been stored in a container.
The Los Angeles fetus disposal scandal. The Los Angeles fetus disposal scandal was the 1982 discovery of over 16,000 aborted fetuses being improperly stored at Malvin Weisberg's Woodland Hills, California home, and ensuing legal battle regarding their disposal. It was called a national tragedy by then-President Ronald Reagan. After purchasing a 20-foot storage container in 1980 and delivering it to his Woodland Hills home and buying it with a bounce check of $1,700, the container was repossessed on February 3, 1982. The company opened the container on the following day, discovering the fetuses, which were stored in formaldehyde. So I wanted to add that detail about what was actually taking place there and look it up instead of just making speculation because my mind immediately went to trafficking. And while it's clear and obvious that stuff's going on, I didn't want to just jump to conclusions on this. That's probably one of the most disturbing things that I've come across yet doing these videos.
Just kind of explain why we're not getting to see these images live. The Apollo 11 landing was broadcast live. Why now
don't we have the technology to see all of this live?
This ain't easy.
It's not easy. Space is hard, but
the moon is hard.
And we're getting a picture on the TV. You got a good picture, huh?
He's on the moon. And the second man is on the moon.
Hey, you got it? That's a good step. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Isn't that something?
We've just got a report from Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Romania that the picture quality there is very good.
That's Neil Armstrong getting ready to move the TV camera now out to the panorama position.
Okay, as far as distance goes, Neil, and we'll line you up again when you finish the panorama. Tell me if you got a picture, Houston.
Well, we got a beautiful picture, Neil.
in terms of more media release, yes, absolutely.
We're working towards improving that, trying to get you surface photos, because I know that everyone's hungry for those surface photos. More cameras. The message is loud and clear. It would be great to get a picture. We have that in the works, so more great imagery from the moon.
Video and pretty pictures.
We're as eager to see those images as the public is.
Obviously, imagery, we love it, want to share it as much as we can. We want to record it. But if we're having issues getting it off of the vehicle,
unfortunately,
we just did not have time to go fix that.
It's going to take a little bit of time.
There is a capacity that we share, and we're being as transparent as we can here.
A little slower than we might have wanted.
Some hardware problems.
It's not pointing at Earth. Data flows out of mission control in a very sporadic way.
There are many other customers, science customers, that use the Deep Space Network. Actually slows the effort to share things with the team. Seeing a number of issues with file transfers. We did have a number of communications glitches. We had either forward or return link problems.
Also, during coast in the zero gravity of environment of space,
It's very difficult to transmit on the fly, if you will, and get that all the way back to Earth.
struggle to get communications.
Unfortunately, they're going to be in the darkness. They will not be sunlit, so we won't get very good video of them.
Tip of the iceberg in its beginning, for people to realize, wow, this was an incredible success.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
People telling me how, like, oh, it's so funny that you keep saying that we landed on the moon, but you don't even have any pictures to prove it yet. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I don't need a picture to prove it, right? I don't need a picture. They all were saying how we were so dumb for believing it without any pictures. You're not always going to get pictures.
Over a dozen funnies on the list. Issues,
Challenges,
glitches, phenomenon, problems,
idiosyncrasies,
anomalies.
At least they're actually getting things. They're actually getting footage. Why would they go out there and fake something and then go, oh, we accidentally snapped one of the legs and it's tilted over 30 degrees?
So that you can ask that question.
It makes it look more legitimate and authentic in a way. Same way with having the footage be poor. Because it's like, well, if they were faking it, why wouldn't they make it look better? Well, actually, they wouldn't, because it's harder to tell that it's fake when it's not very good. If it was high definition and they really went all out, like Interstellar and stuff, you'd be able to figure it out. Or figure out that it's fake. You certainly can't do anything like that live. Secondly, it obviously gives them an excuse to not give you everything. Right? Now you're not expecting as much because it tipped over. It wasn't completely successful. It's brilliant script writing to fake it, but to appease people as if they really landed on the moon.
It's just CGI and propaganda, selling it to the masses, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, dude, they're not doing that good of a job at it, really.
So that's 4 minutes of NASA lying, trying to explain away why they don't have the simple capabilities of putting an iPhone camera lens on all of this equipment that's bouncing around supposedly on the moon and around in space. So why they can't do that, they could. They could put cameras on this stuff and send us back actual photographs and video footage, just like they supposedly did at the original moon landing. But they know we overanalyze the crap at everything they show us and find all their details and stuff that they get wrong. And that's why they don't want to give us no new photos and videos, because it's all faked anyway. They don't want us catching it.
That the alkalines of our DNA follow regular grammar and have set rules just like our languages. So human languages did not appear coincidentally, but are a reflection of our inherent DNA. Dr. Lee Bartell, a professor emeritus of music and health and music education, is a leading researcher and expert on how our cells are affected by sound. He explores how sound can stimulate cells in your body and brain to reduce the impact of fibromyalgia pain, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and depression, and even increase blood flow. A common consumer vibroacoustic device is used to treat these health conditions. Researchers found that they could document brain cells firing at the frequency of the stimulus. Therefore, they could use a stimulus to bring about desired brain states, like delta sleep, which measures about 40 hertz.
So I'm total believer in using sound frequencies and stuff to heal the human body. Actually, my bad, I was supposed to report back on this sooner. Ping pong balls over the eyes. So I actually tried to do that and do the hallucination that they say you'll get from doing that trick. I didn't have any ping pong balls, so I just took a plastic Easter egg apart and taped them over my eyes. What happened was, it was a little late in the evening whenever I tried it, and I put headphones on, taped those over my eyes, and within about 5 minutes I fell asleep. I was just listening to static. I'm gonna try it again probably today while I'm awake, while it's in the middle of the day. I fell asleep. My wife came and woke me up after about 15 minutes, and it was probably the best nap I've ever had in my entire life. I was listening to this healing frequency video on YouTube that was supposed to be like a white noise static that was supposed to be some healing frequency, and man, I felt like I slept for 10 hours in about 15 minutes.
Although I have to acknowledge, Sean, I don't think we're in control. Yeah, with all humility, we are not in control. Whatever we are dealing with, whatever we are interacting with at Skinwalker Ranch appears to be several steps ahead of us and has such advanced capabilities that it's important that we address it with humility and reverence. I think a lot of this is being revealed because it wants to be revealed, and I know that may sound hokey, but I believe that certain things are probably being manifest and shown to us as a result of our stewardship and working to sincerely engage the phenomena.
So that was the current owner of Skinwalker Ranch. And if you're not watching the Skinwalker Ranch series that has him and his crew in it, where they're actively investigating the ranch and trying to see if they can stir up this paranormal phenomenon so that they can better understand what's happening there, you ought to be watching it because it is really, really intriguing. It's not like Oak Island or something like that where they just show the same thing every episode and you never really get any new information. Every episode they're trying out different methods of testing different theories and getting actual real world results from some of these tests and stuff that they're doing, and it's really, really good. I suggest everybody check it out.
The Darkest Performances / Concerts in 2023 Part 1. At the Grammy Awards earlier on in the year, Sam Smythe quite literally shocked the world with one of the most demonic performances we have ever seen on live television. Performing his song Unholy, it looks like he tried to give us a depiction of what hell looks like. With him in devil horns, the whole set on fire, women in cages. I mean, it just doesn't get any more demonic than that. Next, we have Lil Uzi Vert at Rolling Loud, where he even wore a satanic belt with pentagrams on it. He was playing these gory murder scenes in the background of whatever the heck that movie was. And to top that all off, he debuted his song where he said he made a city girl believe in Satan. And whenever The Weeknd went on tour this year, there was always a common theme. His dancers would be dressed in these hooded gowns, dancing around this demonic-looking robot thing. And whenever that figure wasn't there, they would be dressed up in red, doing it under the moon. People who attended these concerts just said that there was a very dark vibe. I mean, not to mention, he literally flashed the word Satan at one of his concerts.
It's starting to feel like the second Sodom and Gomorrah here in the United States. It's starting to feel like there's a Hail Mary being thrown right now, that they're at the end of their ropes, all of these satanic evil elites, and they're pushing all this stuff onto us in a last-ditch effort to try to maintain some sort of control, to corrupt us fully and openly instead of doing it in secret like they used to try. I just can't, I don't understand why else this stuff would be happening. It just doesn't make any sense. Someone's behind it and someone's pushing all this stuff and someone is trying to actively shift the culture of the United States to make it evil and satanic.
Another piece of science that can help prove that consciousness may be beyond the body and in a field of energy that just is at the fundamental core of who and what we are and the universe that exists around us was an experiment they did with a slime mold. Now, a slime mold is a number of single-celled amoeba that come together in a colony that creates this slime mold that then moves around together as a bunch of single-celled creatures with identical DNA. But they take on different functions within the slime mold itself. So these single-celled amoeba start to come together and create like internal organs that have different functions, that these slime mold amoeba over here do different things than these slime mold amoeba over here do, including an immune system response where 1% of these individual creatures go around swallowing up the pathogens that find themselves within the slime mold, and they drop out of the bottom of the slime mold, self-sacrificing, which is an altruistic act at a single-celled organism scale. They throw themselves on a grenade.
I don't know that to me proves that consciousness is outside of the body. These single cells could be running off of a pre-programmed program. They could be predisposed to certain actions based on their current environment or given circumstances. So it could just be that that's what they're seeing play out, is these things are reacting to their specific circumstance, and that's what's causing them to react the way they are. And it has nothing to do with consciousness. Either that or I just completely misunderstood that guy's point.
Vanga's predictions for 2024 are genuinely shocking. Her predictions have had over 85% accuracy. Now, she is very, very famous for predicting a lot of crazy events. Now, she died back in 1996, but her predictions take her up hundreds of years into the future. The first prediction is a major object will fall from the sky onto Earth. What does that even mean? Some people say this could be a metaphor for some kind of economic crash, or basically the global system just collapsing, or literally something like a satellite falling onto Earth, which would, not be great, or something even worse like a bomb or a solar storm. Next, and this is really scary. She said there will be tensions and conflicts all across Europe over land, people trying to grab land and take over, and a lot of territorial disputes involving countries like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and the list goes on. Now this is a little bit scary with everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks, right? Next up, major earthquakes all across the world, including in very mountainous, saying there will essentially be some earthquakes which cause absolute devastation. And I mean, there already has been in the last few weeks, if you think about it. Scientists have warned that these ones could be extremely devastating. And next, an unexpected assassination or death in politics which will rock the whole system, potentially even being the death of a world leader. With rising tensions all across the world, terrorist threats remain extremely high worldwide, and the possibility of something like this happening is likely. And finally, a huge economic crisis and crash worldwide due to rising fuel costs, due to shipping lanes being closed, all of this stuff. Even yesterday with the oil ship being sunk, meaning that whole port is essentially closed now. So this is going to cause a lot of issues going forwards. But yeah, let's just hope it all stays here now. None of the other things happen and we just, get on with our lives and chill. But yeah, who knows? But hit that follow button and I'll keep you updated.
Stuff all sounds like it's within the realm of possibility that it's going to happen. We just had the Russians launch that satellite up in space that's supposedly floating over the United States, ready to drop an EMP on us. So that could be what falls out of the sky. Of course, that would only affect the United States, and this seems like it's going to be a bigger issue than just hitting and affecting one country. Definitely seems like our economy is not only in a free fall, but in a planned free fall. They're trying to destroy our economy so they can usher in this digital currency crap.
This is Kanye West, not Kanye, and by the end of the video, you will agree. In 2019, he dropped an album called Jesus is King, where he often attended and hosted Sunday services. His next album was Donda. That's 2 straight albums without cuss words. The guy clearly changed his life. He then started to expose the industry, especially his ex-wife Kim Kardashian, because she supported Balenciaga and their horrific ad campaign. He then started to expose every celebrity, saying that they're all controlled and he will no longer be controlled, and everyone sacrificed someone.
They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce. Not you, man. But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. My mama was sacrificed. Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son.
After things started to get deeper and deeper in this video, he said, if I ever disappear and come back, it is not me. He literally said in this freestyle, just watch how they're gonna clone me.
That God is the only, the real, not the phony. The phony will clone me. Just watch how they cloned me. Hey, look.
Well, what happened? He disappeared, came back, looks like a completely different person. His teeth is different, or something that happened with his lip. He married someone that looks extremely similar to Kim K. But not only that, the darkest part of it all, his new album features Playboy Carti in multiple different songs, who's the most demonic rapper in the industry and went against everything he was talking about. I mean, his merch is literally repping Satan.
It definitely seems suspicious that Kanye speaks so much about religion and about Jesus and worshiping God and being a fighter on that side of things, and then comes out with something like this where he's actually releasing music with an open Satanist, as the way I see it. Kanye West specifically, and I know we've covered a lot of artists on this channel. Kanye West specifically, I genuinely think is just a crazy genius, and I think the Kanye you get on Tuesday is different than the Kanye you get on Thursday. I don't like all of his stuff, but I respect his capabilities.
This thing is huge. It's 1,376 feet long altogether. It goes from 9 feet deep to 3 foot deep. It's like a golf course. You can't understand the gravity of it unless you have a drone 666 feet in the air, coincidentally. But this thing is an enormous snake that has an egg in its mouth, and it looks like something called the world egg, which is some sort of satanic craziness or whatever. But these mounds are all over the United States, and people that were, buying their plot of land, plowing the fields, making farms, etc., were finding mounds on their property, and when they tried to level them out so they could farm their land, they were pulling up bones, and every one of the bones were giants, all of them. Well, if this was happening all over the United States, how come we didn't hear about it? Well, we did, until around 1947. A lot changed in 1947. Discovering giants on your property went completely silent. But prior to 1947, it was in the newspaper, just no big deal. Every one of the coils of this snake that you're seeing line up with the constellations. I mean, this is incredibly accurate. It's an amazing piece of work, and it's been here forever. It's just sitting there right in Ohio. There are massive mounds in pretty much almost every state. Some of them people have discovered, and some of them people just think are hills, because that's what they look like. But what they found inside was amazing stuff that completely rewrites history, which is why all of this is covered up. You know, everything is now whatever quote-unquote experts or quote-unquote scientists say. You know, evolution was never actually proven, neither was the Big Bang or black holes. But suddenly they're just facts now. Of massive skeletons from 7 to 12 foot tall, in some cases larger, but I can't verify those. But they were all over the place. It wasn't hidden knowledge. This is also back when people believed in God, people believed in community, family, man marries. We've gone slightly off the track in the last couple of decades, and if you're not old enough, you wouldn't know that, and that's exactly what they're counting on. You see what I'm saying? But the amount of articles, I mean, you could find them every single day from all over the world. This stuff was absolutely, it was just mainstream news, no big deal. But suddenly, monopolies showed up. They started buying up the news. They started shutting it down because they had an agenda. They wanted to turn the world into, well, what the world is right now, basically. Prior to 1947, regularly in the newspaper, there was another person digging up a giant. 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall, 12 foot tall. It was happening all the time, and not just in the United States, but all over the world. But many of these were found specifically in these ancient mounds that are all over the United States that, you know, the powers that be, we'll call them, would simply say, oh, those were just Indians. Yeah, well, there was an awful lot of really tall Indians, except when you talk to Native Americans, they say the exact opposite. So there's that. And this is what I'm talking about. The Smithsonian publishes this back in 2017, saying a graveyard of giants was found. Well, I remember when this happened, and everybody was talking about the graveyard of giants found in China. But the only one that put these quote-unquote giants at 5'9" or longer was the Smithsonian.
This makes me want to so badly go get some sort of ground penetrating radar and go down the Natchez Trace and go look at all these burial mounds, all these Indian mounds that are just littering the sides of the road. Man, if I had the money to go rent the equipment and understood how to use it, I would go do it. I'm getting more and more convinced that that's what those mounds are, is grave sites of giants. Very, very fascinating stuff. Sorry about the clothing change halfway through the video. I just realized I was still wearing the shirt I had on yesterday. I haven't left the house, so didn't feel a need to change. But I threw on a new one just for you guys, just so I would look a little cleaner than I am. But I'm going to go ahead and call the video there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the clips we watched together today. Come back tomorrow. I'll have another video up like I always do. I hope you have a great, safe, fantastic rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow.